This morning in our health slot, we're talking about bipolar disorder, which is characterized by shift in moods, fluctuations in energy, as well as activities. Now, it's a serious mental illness that can destroy relationships, undermine career prospects, and seriously affect academic performance. Now, research shows that over 4 million South Africans have got bipolar disorder. So, to talk more about this, we're joined in studio by psychologist from the couch in Rivonia, Louise Bolton, and of course, she'll be giving us more information about bipolar disorder. Louise, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, when we're looking at 4 million people, that's a lot of people, you know. And so does one know when they've got bipolar, or what are the symptoms rather, or the characteristics of bipolar disorder, in case, you know, 4 million is a big number of people in South Africa?
It's a big number of people, and I believe that it's quite underdiagnosed as well.
Yeah.
So there's probably more. The kind of symptoms that a person would look out for would be extreme mood swings between highs and lows, but extreme enough, as you said yourself, to actually influence one's daily functioning.
Okay.
Also, it would deviate significantly from your baseline behavior. So you would know, this is not what I behave like every day. This is significantly higher, so more positive, more euphoric, or significantly lower, very depressed, very down, very sad.
So what's the difference between that? And I read an article significantly focusing on bipolar disorder, where people sometimes mistaken a bad day, because we all have bad days when we really do not feel like doing anything at all.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times that gets misdiagnosed, that one is having a bad day versus one actually has got or is displaying symptoms of bipolar. So just take us through the differences.
Okay. For one, and I agree with you, people have bad days, ups and downs during a normal day. So for one to actually be diagnosed with a disorder such as bipolar, as I said, the extremity thereof must be significant enough to influence your success at that which you attempt in life, whether that's your studies, your work, your relationships with family. So it would be on a more extreme level.
So in other words, a bad day is, I don't feel like going to work today because my heart's broken, whatever. But bipolar would be, I don't feel like going anywhere for 3 weeks.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
it could be that.
All right.
Yeah, that would be when you're in the low state.
Yeah.
In the high state, it could be something very excessive, like withdrawing all of the money from your bank account and going gambling because you believe that you just cannot lose.
Okay. I've also heard that many people would make purchases, like irrational purchases, on a very euphoric day. In other words, and they will then buy houses which they
Yes.
cannot afford, or go on extreme shopping sprees. And I'm talking about thousands and thousands of rands being spent as a result of this euphoric day.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's characterized pretty much by uplifting, or what is experienced and perceived as uplifting behaviors, but the consequences thereof are not really thought through well. So while a person will engage in this, they will enjoy it very much, but afterwards they will really regret the decisions they made, and then they would have lost the money, as you said, it will be gone.
No, but if you suspect that somebody, I mean, I'm thinking about anybody that is watching this, if you've got someone that could perhaps be displaying those characteristics, or if you've got, if you yourself are feeling like, shucks, this actually starting to sound like me, what do I do? Where's my first step or my first line of help?
Okay, well, it would be necessary to get a formal diagnosis. The most ideal thing to do would be to see both a psychiatrist and a psychologist, so that it can be managed from a pharmacological point of view as well as a therapeutic point of view. The medication will help one to have some immediate relief in terms of mood stability, whereas the psychotherapy will assist in terms of long-term strategies, in terms of coping skills and preventing the same future behavior by having an awareness of it, being able to identify it, being able to adapt your strategies when you can see that this kind of behavior is coming on.
Is it also characterized by depression, like excessive depression?
Excessive depression.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think most of us have an awareness of what depression looks like. So it would be like a loss of interest in activities that one once enjoyed doing, feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, sadness, really low energy motivation to engage in necessary activities that one once engaged in before. But now, of course, there'd be baseline behavior, and you'd know that this significantly deviates from the baseline. And once returning to the baseline, if one then also has a manic episode, which is an arousal of emotion, then you know that this is not depression, this is bipolar.
When we're looking at those who are susceptible, because now there's again, I'm going to refer to the numbers, 4 million people, and
Yes.
you were saying that number could actually be significantly more.
Yeah.
What when we're looking at exactly how is it that you can get it, or are you susceptible to it? Can anybody have bipolar? Is it a hereditary? How do we know?
Okay, so bipolar can happen to anyone across all cultures and walks of life. It is something that one really does not have any control over.
Yeah.
It's very strong. It has a very strong genetic component.
Okay.
So whereas one might develop depression through circumstances, bipolar would develop through circumstances only if you had a predisposition there. It is absolutely necessary to consult first.
Yeah. Well, of course, it is all about making sure that we are aware, but most importantly, know that we are not alone at this moment when it comes to bipolar. And of course, looking at that information, we will have information at the bottom of the screen. I'm a neuropsychologist as well. SADC is also available for more information, especially if you will need some form of treatment, or even if you want some consultation there. As you can see, you can also go onto our Facebook page, which is on the bottom of our screen, and you get to find out more information. We will lead you to the necessary institutions to get you some help. Louise, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really much appreciated.
Such a pleasure.
Speaking to psychologist Louise Bolton. She is from The Couch. It is a private practice based in Rivonia, and of course speaking about bipolar disorder as well as the prevalence thereof in the South African context. Do stay with us here on Sunrise. More shortly after this.